Invictus Gaming's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. T1's turn to ban. Invictus Gaming's turn to pick. T1's turn to pick.
Lion.
Howdy everybody, Suns fan here with the old senior managed game 2 of IG versus T1, and T1 got stomped pretty hard, I have to say there, son.
T1.
Yeah, and luckily for you guys, you don't have to look at our faces much longer. We're in the draft itself.
And luckily enough, that is not Suns fan's actual accent, so you only had to listen to that for 5 seconds.
That's not true. I could do the whole game.
Yeah, don't do that.
Valve, how much will you pay me not to do that?
Oh,
how much more?
Negotiation. All right.
Talk to me about this silencer ban.
Yeah, so I thought this silencer ban was going to indicate that IG were planning on some Dawnbreaker shenanigans, potentially, but they just grabbed their Kaka line again, because there's line in the pool and you have Kaka, so you first pick. T1's response of Tide Snapfire is very teamfight heavy. It's also a strong line, they have double minus armor, but at the same
Invictus
time, it's
Gaming's
perhaps
turn
also
to
a little bit telegraphed what you're trying to do with this. Abaddon pick from Invictus Gaming is very good against this. You have a guaranteed breaker for Ravage. You can just use Abaddon's ult if he's caught in the Ravage, and then he can shield the carry and protect them from the Tide combo.
Invictus Gaming's turn to ban.
And it was a hero that was banned last game. It seems this hero, at least in this series, is rated very high. First phase picked in game and first previous game.
So the similar bans are Monkey King, Tiny in terms of first phase. So the Silencer and I, obviously.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm pretty sure Silencer was
T1's turn to ban.
He was not. Yeah. At least not.
Invictus Gaming's turn to ban.
I wonder why IG are not going for the Elder Titan again here. Maybe they feel like the matchups against Tide and Snap are just bad. Which I could kind of agree with. I guess the Elder Titan against Tide is not that good. You can always, break out. Take the kind of team fights that Elder Titan wants to thrive in. Now you're facing them instead. T against Snapfire.
5 seconds remaining.
How much flex is available for Snapfire these days? Is it just a support flex, or is it?
Yeah.
Is it versatile?
I mean, maybe you could play it 3. I don't think the mid Snapfire is that good.
That little shredder talent.
I feel like the mid Snapfire honestly was only really good when we had the old Gobble up, right? Did get nerfed at some point when mid Snap was popular. Mid players would just rush Ags, would throw in someone. I mean, that's still, the combo still exists, but that got nerfed. I think the ulti damage got nerfed as well. So a lot of the appeal for the hero kind of just fell off. And a lot of the time nowadays, you actually see Snapfire picked specifically as a counter to Tombstone and Supernova with the little shredder, just for the attack counter. But here, obviously, doesn't counter anything specific. A flat-out picket line, which. So, curious to see T1 put this to use and what their overall plan is. The obvious synergy there was the minus armor, right? Strong lane. Has a lot of damage, a lot of control.
Little Shredder has been nerfed a bit over the
Invictus Gaming's turn to...
But yeah, still that Gush Shredder combo. Doom for IG, alright. You get some nice juicy gold onto that big bad boy. See how they want to lane him. We've seen mid, we've seen him off lane. That's basically it.
T1's turn to pick.
Ember
Or Doom.
Spirit.
And Butter. Classic Chinese Dota heroes. Ember Spirit and Doom have always, or as long as I can remember them being in the game. I just associate these heroes more with China than other regions. I think Doom in particular has been picked up more in SCA as of late compared to how it used to be, but always been a staple in the strategy. So can't say I'm too surprised to see that here into the Storm Spirit pick. Also a great hero against Tide. It's one thing you can't crack and chill off. You just get doomed and Ravage is out of play. Then you can choose whether you want to kill the Tide or just pretend he's there.
Invictus Gaming's
literally useless. Like, we'll do thing.
Well, even with that, Storm is. Do you have to go for Blink? Like,
you're also against Lion.
That's true.
It's a little bit dicey, I think.
Yeah. BKB against Lion feels fine, but then doesn't do anything.
10 seconds remaining.
So it's more about positioning against Doom, so you can't get. I mean, it's quite a long cast animate to get it up.
5 seconds remaining.
Right. If you play very well and very fast on the Storm with the BK here, you should still be able to have a lot of impact. Jump around, BKB against the Lion. That's the instant catch and light chains. And like you said, yeah, BKB is probably necessary, right? Because if you go for the Lincolns, there's still a lot of issues that you could face. You get slight chained, then it's very easy for the enemy team to break your Lincoln line, and then you can get doomed. And if you go for the Lincoln's Lion can still catch you. You can Blink, Mono Drain, Hex you in items, so it's like.
What are your thoughts on Luna? Because this is a hero that's been like micro nerfed a couple times now, so obviously stacking affects her a lot in terms of those nerfs. But the shard is probably the biggest nerf she's received, where it doesn't bounce twice. I believe biggest. So
yeah.
T1
basically like cleared an entire creep wave with. Do you think she's still good enough to be picked?
Yeah, for sure. I can't say I'm too sold here. Just I like Luna and Tide together. I think they play largely the same game. You know, aura-based carry that wants to move up and fight, and then you Ravage. With that logic, Snapfire's also okay. But I'm missing the tower damage here. I'm missing what T1 is going to do.
They're going to get shard on Roche. Tide.
10 seconds remaining.
I think your last hero ideally wants tower damage just so you can give Luna and Tide the type of fight they want, because over on IG's side, they don't have tower damage either, and a hero like Ember and Doom, they love skirmishes, but the team fights aren't that easy.
Hell yeah. I love Troll, Cinderin. Hell yeah. This is a hero that's fallen off the freaking face of the earth.
I was gonna say Bat Chest there, but you weren't get that. But
is that an emote?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
That's the way you said it is.
Thank you for showing how much of a boomer
I love Troll.
I love Troll. I do. Great hero.
I am tainted by Twitch chat forever.
One of the most polarizing ults in the game.
Yep, for 2 minutes. A lot of time for T1 to figure this out. Traditional picks that are very good against Troll are Disarms, Pugna. You have Storm, who's going to mid. You could technically play a Pugna support or offlane with a fetched.
What about some
Shadow
push
Demon,
with Shadow Shaman?
And Shadow Shaman could work.
You got the instant hex for Ember. If you get Blink, you can Rasta Wars push.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman doesn't bad in those. Really annoying matchup. So
I mean, a lot of heroes don't like them.
Yeah, and that's why it's a good pick. Really wondering if this last pick support, or if the or Zephyr. And your last pick Cuckoo is something else here that has a good time against Troll. Bat Rider is in the pool, but you are facing a Baton once again. But Bat is really good against every other hero basically IG has. Maybe you consider that. You could even put it mid. That way you make sure it doesn't face the Baton, but that would put your Storm Spirit in the side lane, which isn't unplayable, but it's not great. T1 definitely going over the options here. It's a minute and a half now. They obviously won't need later.
It won't get added on to next game.
No. Not. I wonder what they're juggling between. I do think solving Troll should be a requirement for this hero. Troll is very good against Luna, I think, and you can't really guarantee to control him with the Tide because of a Baton. your last hero need to be able to do something to the troll. That was why my mind went to Bad Rider, because it's like the classic counter troll.
Night. You may now select your heroes.
So
So it is going to be support Tide then.
it felt like you spent 2 minutes picking a bad lane, right? Like Night Stalker hates troll. It's a really bad. So you're effectively giving Fly a good start, and your trade-off is, okay, we believe in our strategy with this mid-game timing with Tide Luna, that we can overwhelm you as well with the Night Stalker. It's a great hero against the Baden, so that's
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you see Doom's cosmetic right now? Does that not look like a Rasta ward coming out of his back? Like, literally exactly the same.
It's fine for Glance Blue.
What the? I don't think I've ever seen that cosmetic before. All right, continue with your Ti10 group stage point.
Yeah.
That was the Ti10 cosmetic
10
point.
seconds remaining.
I'm sure there's going to be another segment where that's more suitable.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Night Stalker does well against Abaddon, sure, and he can be cool against Ember as well when you get the dagger. Get on top of him and he escape. Again, worried about, and if the last game is anything to go by, IG did beat them in the lanes, and I think this time T1's honestly arguably weaker except mid. The Tide 5 plus Luna against Lion Doom, you're okay. Lion Doom doesn't really, they just start. So maybe, I think T1 in this game can draw or slightly win mid if Carl plays it well. And in the safe lane, you probably draw or slightly win well on Luna, but you're Night Stalkers. What I'm worried about. Even with a well-played Snapfire here, I think Troll Abaddon just out-farm you to pressure.
So you're going with IG.
It's hard not to based on last game as well, right? But I do see, I actually think from a draft perspective, thinking about it a little bit more, if things go right for T1, it's an easier path to victory. But how do I put this into words? So in the last game, some things needed to go really, really well in order for them to have a decent shot. I think this game, if things go really well, they're favored. But they need to get ahead. I don't think breaking even is enough once again, and that, based on how last game went, is a little bit concerning, right? Because the game was slow. That was a slow last game. We had like 5 kills minute 15, or it was 3 kills minute 15.
Honestly, I really think that comes down to that. First game of TI, it's been 2 years coming.
Just what I need.
I think that first game is just like shaking off the nerves, and we'll get some more. I mean, passive play is fine. It's just not the norm for Dota. So I think that's a big reason for it.
Having low kills does not mean you're playing bad. It really depends on what your strategy is trying to accomplish and what. Looking at T1's lineup again, though, compared to last game, some similarities, right? Where's the playmaking? It's the Storm. Night Stalker needs items to really make powerful plays or initiate them.
And Tide is position 5, so
Tide is
he will
5.
not get items.
You have no other catch, right? Snapfire is a follow-up. On the other side, you have Lion Ember.
Like, I'm not saying that a core snap makes sense here, but the Ags, in terms of the initiation, that's where Tide 5 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that could have been cool.
Maybe Zephyr get a little bit more fun where you the tree line would be good to go. So talk to me about Troll Warlord, because I absolutely love this hero, but he has been basically unpicked for God knows how long now.
Yeah, quite a while.
And I mean, I know the talents got redistributed a bit for him, but in terms of just actual changes, remembering what he's such a forgotten hero here. You can see Bounty Rune spawn T1. Feel like they're going to get it, and they do. Looks like they will get 3 out of the 4. Fly doing a good amount of damage to Cuckoo.
Could have actually grabbed the other bounty, but he was not sure that that was safe territory.
Blessings upon a
just going to
loyal
settle
warrior.
for. So a little bit of an advantage here for T1, which is nice. About Troll, I think this hero needs good matchups. I don't think it's just one of those carrots you just pick just because,
Definitely not.
right?
Yeah, sure.
And IG with the heroes that were presented to them at the time, I think they saw both the Luna and the Tide, and they just felt like these are good matchups. So we're gonna grab the Troll for that.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna end up facing a Night Stalker as well instead, and probably doesn't feel bad about that. You're just laying into Cuckoo non-stop, that harass.
Mine!
Well, man, we have the brothers fighting each other. Stormsphere versus Ember, Emo versus Carl. Who do you give the advantage to in terms of, not the players, but hero matchup?
I think it's slightly Storm favored, but it used to be better than it is now. I think especially the change to level 1 Flame Guard where it went from 50 to 110, makes a pretty big difference in this lane because it means you can't remove the Flame Guard with one Fire Remnant. Or sorry, one Static Remnant. Wow. Wow. And that means that in these early levels where Storm will usually just dominate the lane, just hold its own, you get level 3, Flame Guard isn't really... Yeah, Storm should be slightly favored, I guess.
23 Savage on the Luna, of course, and I mean, again, the untraditional position 5 Tide Hunter, not the most common thing that we do. See how that ends up going for him. Trying to get the courier, but Tide is fat and slow, so able to catch up. JT, I can relate to that, by the way, as JT is now getting chased a bit. And to say, in terms of like the harassment capability from that lane, with Tide as a 5, is that like a disadvantage inherent? Like, he's really tanky.
Yeah.
He just walks up like a lumbering beast and just applies a little bit of damage.
He doesn't benefit very much from Lunar Blessing, right? That's the problem. Luna loves to lane with a support that can attack, just because you get a free item when Luna is level 3. It's 5 damage, and then it jumps up to 15 on level 2, which, in the early laning stage, 15 damage, 3 minutes in, is a lot. But Tide can't really use it. Kaka with Courier. Fun fact,
Yep,
since patch 707, Kaka with the most Courier kills in Pro Dota in the world logged.
Right. It's not Yapzor.
Number 1, that is true. Someone would guess that if they didn't know what they were thinking of.
That's right.
Yeah, Kaka number 1. See why they're on his line given that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you talk about, this is the reason you pick Troll. The laning stage, this is a hero that wants to fight. A lot of position 1s are, you know, very passive. I mean, a lot of these heroes have gotten better over time in terms of balancing. Like Void used to be completely worthless, now he's okay. Same with Spectre.
Yep.
But Troll is like a bully, especially if you're like these.
Not going too bad for T1 though down here. Breaking even on CS between the two, and Carl is significantly ahead on mid currently. Again. So fair to say that the laning stage this time around for T1 just flat out going better than last game, right? They're off to a better start here. Overall.
Huzzah!
That has you hopeful for the mid game this time around, that since last game they did a good job, but it was just hard, this time they could be the ones charge instead. Very nice stuff. World of difference with heroes ahead compared to such a polar. Bottom lane, Kuko's in trouble.
Getting chased
We'll
a bit
get away.
here. Made it sound really exciting, and he wasn't even close to dying.
He had a lot of stick trouble.
Air spike here for 23 Savage. Harassment. Doing just fine right now. 18 and 4 versus the Troll, so basically a wash. And yes, discrepancy.
What happens to bottom lane, man? If Zephyr gets level 4 and steals Cookie,
under attack.
maybe they can even kill here. At nighttime, Kuko will get level 4 as well. Balance might shift enough that Troll favored that point. Kind of weathered the storm and did a good job down here. The question is the payoff.
Savage getting pressured. The Hex is there with JT applying a lot of pressure. Oh, the Fairy trying to keep them on just a little bit longer, but it's not going to be enough. First blood goes the way of Kaka himself. Blackline, Kaka, he's taking heavy damage right now, but with Ollie in the vicinity, he's going to perfectly come back. Try to turn this a bit. Product shield now.
Never routine school given.
Nighttime is coming up. The good news for Troll in this lane, even at nighttime, is that a lot of the time you can just pop Whirling Axis. Man up and force him out. Once
First spike here into the Hex as well. JT with that Scorched Earth. Clean up the kills. Gonna try to turn it around with the Lucent Beam. Looks like it's gonna be enough to get the kill on Kaka instead. Pressure now to the bot lane. Firefly. 1v2, but Ollie is on his way back. I need a Photic Shield, I need Miscoil. I don't know what the translation would actually.
he gets his elf.
Okay,
So-
even better. Give me something green. They're all green.
Like, I need these two things to protect me, and Ollie's like, no, you get the better one.
Dire's
You get
middle
the
tower is
What a
under
bro.
attack.
Delicious. What kind of build are you looking for from Flyfly? We saw a lot of Maelstrom. Like
Dire
Battle Fury
are
kind of fell
scanning.
off.
Yeah.
Now Maelstrom seems to be the go-to. Or
Dire's middle
Diffusal.
tower is under
I
attack.
think you get Maelstrom probably.
You see the replay here of the South. Very stuff is Mo in the river.
Huzzah!
It's like, who got the rune there?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Spawn there. They were just looked so confident. Carl's gonna get the arcane rune, so that is a very good choice. That it was his choice, I guess.
Very good choice.
Very good choice from Gaben to bestow an arcane. Scorched Earth onto JT, but the cookie is there. JT.
Stupidly tanky with the ice armor.
And there comes Ollie with the Mist Coil and Aphotic Shield as well. Trying to turn this around on White One, but this is the advantage of having a tie. And they're just so ridiculously tanky. JT getting a little bit too low now. But now that Ollie is CP'd out, we'll see what happens in the bot lane against the troll.
I think Fly can just entirely because Fire is also part of this top. So I think that's a solid response. IG go up there and might make their own move. Kaka.
Gale's there. Zephyr gonna try to turn this around. His Whitemon. Cookie's not gonna be enough to range there. Spends the gush and nothing else. Now Whitemon kind of out of mana parts, so what they can do.
Denied.
Zephyr did find a lot of mana from his charges there, so he does have one more volley of spells at least. But
Yeah.
it's hard to see the play up here for these three heroes against two, as long as it's not bad and getting jumped. You can save either Lion or do Aquatic Shield out. Like,
Radiant
most
are
important
scanning.
here is just the gush, really. Really exists.
JT, I mean, this is not uncommon to have Doom in top net worth at this stage of the game, especially now he's going to go for Mike. But level discrepancy, he was actually winning that battle in the top lane. So, off to a very, very good start side. Well, find Whitemon here in the tree. Zephyr's there as well, but yeah, heroes are not. Well, looks like the rune is not going to get like most side of the bottom, but he's brought down by Carl. My goodness, wrong place, wrong time. I'm not sure what the communication there was, but Carl is going to get taken out as well. So a double kill for Carl. In the meantime, battle for the illusion room comes to fruition, Cinder, and Zephyr's going to get brought down as well. So, for one across the board, there's the Doom. First kill of the game. It's going to be a double kill for JT, so nice turnaround from IG, but definitely a misplay. Remember, I'm not sure what the... It felt like he thought the rune was bottom, even though it spawned right next to him. Millisecond later. They might turn this around, though. This would be a big turnaround. Carl zips away, but the remnants are there, and yeah.
Sinks.
Gonna go down to that flame guard.
Very, very quick. This is gonna lead
Dire's
to a
middle
lot of
tower
damage on
is
this
under attack.
tower. You need to rotate in support here. They're gonna town portal in the Night Stalker.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Are they gonna dive this? No. So at the very least, they force rotation and take half the tower, and in time Doom is free farm. So I think IG probably pretty happy with this move. No, they don't get the tower. They're again the ones
Dire's
to
top tower
major
is
deadliness
under
structure,
attack.
just like in game 1.
For sure. I mean, right now, Doom is the, like we talked about, he's kind of the mini alchemist, right? So having a 1k lead, maybe that's a little more even than we think. Ollie gets brought down now. Carl starting to snowball a bit. Obviously, that death was pretty costly for him. They're doing quite well. He's going to jump down. Cookie to come to fruition as well. Firefly gets his ult off, and now Carl in a wrong place, wrong time again. Firefly looks like we get credit for that kill. He might be brought down shortly after finally ulted down. Off the verify, and I guess turn this around to Cuckoo. Gets the whirling action off Emo. The other side of the trees, and Cuckoo has to pop that ult to make sure he can go up to the turn. I thought that was going to be at least a kill onto 23 Savage.
Storm deaths like those hurt so bad.
Looking good.
It's such a snowbally hero by nature.
Generation.
He's effectively delaying his Orchid by maybe 2 minutes with this stake.
Yeah.
Of overextending there. They were close to getting the kill in all fairness, but very high risk, and even if you kill the troll there, you might still die, right? Like, you use the entire tank next to mid-tier 1 where
Looking good.
people could just TP in and fight back, so not really too big a fan of that attempt from Carl, especially with it failing us a bit of a disaster. Tower's gonna fall here. More
Dire's
than
middle
likely.
tower is under
G
attack.
just relentless once again. They're just gonna keep shoving. And I
Radiant
think they also have a
structures
siege
are
creep top
fortified.
that's gonna push, so they might even make their next move there. My God.
We get the impale into... They're doing a lot of damage, but there's a big rabbit coming in. With the pressure from the backline on that Snapfire, doing ridiculous amounts of damage. They'll find the cock-out kill. Ult is finally popped from Ollie. He's getting blocked now. See if they have enough damage to take him out of fight. Looks like they will. Carl looking to get credit for that one, as there's the cookie to help close the gap. That's a second kill for them, and the tower somehow survives.
All right. Yeah, they chose to open up on the Tide under his tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I
attack.
think that was the play there from IG that gets punished very easily by T1 with that Ravage turnaround.
Looks like it's going to be likely a deny to
Radiant's
come in
bottom
for T1.
tower is under attack.
Successfully that.
Not bad.
Bottom lane, bot lane, crippling fear. Turned on though, Firefly knockout. Will have enough damage in all likelihood with that finger of death. Indeed,
Radiant's bottom
Firefly
tower
going for
is
the
under
Maelstrom, by the way,
attack.
went for the Falcon Blade first.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So we'll see, once he gets that, he'll be able to farm the jungle pretty easy.
If you haven't watched Dota much since the last TI, you might be wondering this whole Falcon Blade thing, because I don't remember. I think last TI design probably didn't exist.
Neutral items didn't exist.
That's true. There's actually a lot of things to catch up on if you haven't watched since last TI. But let's just say you haven't watched a lot of competitive Dota this year, but you know Falcon Blade is an item, and you're wondering, okay, why are all carriers just picking this up now? This item has been receiving buff after buff after buff over the last year.
Mainly because it was literally
Never
unusable.
used. Yeah. And it's reached a point now where finally the map. So what makes this item so special is that some people call it the new Aquila, if you remember. So it doesn't upgrade into anything. It's just a value item that you have that gives damage, mana regen, and health. So it's very nice stats for carries, obviously. But since it doesn't upgrade, you can't really. You need value for it, right?
Dire's top tower
It's a
is
similar
under
path
attack.
that items like Racer and we'll get there later.
Crippling fear. Oh man, Ember's absolutely decimated. Emo gets blown up. Carl basically out of mana, but damage has already been done. JT on the run now. Do they have enough cash? The Lucent Beam's going to keep him in place just for now. That's a double kill for Carl, as Ollie not able to keep his allies alive. Looks like he's going to be the third brought down in this mini engagement in favor of T1.
T1 are definitely bringing the numbers.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Fights, very nice.
Fly very close to
Dire's
that's
middle
kind of way
tower
for
is
finishing
under
the Maelstrom
attack.
for Elfin. They're definitely at the disadvantage. We talked about the Doom net worth advantage that inherently comes just by having that hero. There's the Orchid, like you said, a couple minutes behind probably what he would have been if he didn't die a couple times, but good initiation here, and that's a huge, crippling fear against any of these mobility heroes. Very, very strong.
And while T1 do defend their top tower, which is necessary in this spot, I think it's a great choice to hold
Dire's
that.
bottom
It is still low
tower
on
is under
health, so
attack.
probably going to be another move from IG coming up very soon. Ravage is still ready though. No white on, but Emo's going to try to get it on his own. Orchid.
That's the Orchid reveal right now, but looks like Fly will be fine for
Dire's
now, as
top
Carl has
tower
very
is
little
under
mana to get
attack.
the Kaka in pretty bad position. Lucent Beam and the Void enough to take him out.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Cost him the tower. Not having his best start, is a very explosive player on Ember. He's had some standout performances, but this time has been slowed down in his tracks. And keep in mind with the Storm Orchid now online and Emo not even remotely close to a counter item, even more pressure on Ollie to make all the right
What would you want on
plays.
him? Like we've seen Yules in the past. I think
Yule-
doesn't feel very good on the hero.
I think Yules is probably decent, but maybe BKB is necessary here just so you protect yourself from crippling fear as well.
Radiant's
there's a couple
bottom
of
tower
issues
is under attack.
that you're facing. That is Go. Kaga's gonna finish his Blink Dagger down here on Lion, so coming up after the Satyr Mind Stealer dies. There.
Oh, they found Ollie again. Yeah, Ollie, the sacrificial lamb. Cookie to keep him in place, so yet another death for him. If you're IG, that's the hero you kind of wanted. That.
Yeah.
A nice smoke here from T1. If IG are not careful, they could be brought down, but feel it with that scan. Although, whose scan was it? That was Radiant.
It is the obvious move for T1, in all fairness, though. You have 4 heroes that just made a kill there in the top half of the map. They're not pushing the top wave, so they're not going for the tower, so...
Radiant's middle tower is
Not
under
exactly
attack.
an Hercule Poirot observation there.
Okay, whatever that
they
was.
need to go in there.
You need to clear your throat.
Excuse me.
Okay.
But they get the tower still for their smoke, so definitely well worth it here from T1.
Dire's bottom
Ramping
tower
up
is under attack.
their aggression. Maybe bottom tower is next on the menu. I wouldn't be surprised. And they're going to steal the triangle farm here as well. So nicely done. Even though that might seem like that smoke didn't do that much, it was actually
Dire are scanning.
It's the same ward as last game as well, by the way. Worth noting, the one at the tier tower in mid, once again down.
2 smokes now that have been countered by the scan.
On it. Showing.
She's on by Kaka, but the Troll has to pop his ult to stay alive. It's Whitemon very low, but it looks like JT and Kaka take a tumble. That means IG on the run. Fly Flight gonna get brought down as well. This is looking like a big disaster fight for IG. The Emo just doesn't have the damage to fight, and Ollie just not enough to keep his team alive right now. It looks like the usual slow death for Abaddon, although they don't want to chase any further foes. I didn't realize he still had his ult.
Have IG not watched ESJ's videos?
Which video is this?
That Ti10 was dangling.
Oh my God.
He was
Radiant's
literally
middle
just
tower
dangling
is
out
under
the front.
attack.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna blink Hex there with Lion, he needs to get doomed untied. Like, I don't think you can just get this play off where Lion blink Hexes, Earth Spikes, and then you somehow time your spells perfectly and just kill him. And that is exactly what happened, right? Like, they couldn't bring down Whitemon like that, and Kaka just ends up dying for it. The whole fight snowballs very quickly, so...
Yeah, I mean, you have the 2 Blink Daggers, and... I mean, you could go for the... If you have the instant Hex, you don't even need the Centaur Stomp. Doom, theoretically, right? Doom.
You're gonna see it here. So Hex, or... That's after the Hex, by the way. And now he's gonna go in on the back line there with Doom, but gets ravaged and just killed instantly. No BKB, obviously. Great punish there from T1, and they also had great positioning. That is where you want to take that fight, ideally, with your heroes. You're very safe on the high ground, and you have your frontline hero be the one to get jumped. It doesn't...
23 Savage is having himself a game on that Luna, for sure. This is not where you want to be as Troll. He's getting initiated on. There's the Orchid to silence him, and he is very close to dead. In fact, Cuckoo just finishes him off in styles. JT is getting collateral damage at this point. T1 on a roll. It's only a 2k net worth lead, but it's probably more if you put in the Doom.
Yeah. It's
Radiant's top tower is under
a
attack.
sizable advantage, and
Radiant structures
you imagine
are
the Radiant call now is, okay guys, calm down, we need the... Right? Like, I think the timing where you had a good shot at fights with your freshly picked up Blink Daggers is kind of over now. You need BKB so you can contest Ravage, you need BKB so you don't get ruined by the Orchid.
Radiant's top
and all of the
tower
damage.
is under attack.
You can see it queued up for both Doom and Ember and Troll, all 3 of them. Next item coming up.
Troll, playing Troll just feels bad. As much as I love this hero, the uncontrollable nature of his ult is just so easily kiteable in most cases, unless you're just mega farmed. And it feels like you have to go BKB every game as well.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
Hero's not in a good place. I was hoping to see something new potentially. Like when he found some light in a couple patches ago with the Aghanim Scepter, people were buying it every game and going like a mid magic build that had a little bit of life to it. But
that build was did it get nerfed even?
The axe did not get nerfed.
I don't think so. The flow of the game just changed. Or it was a fad because Thompson did it in a pub and it made a highlight reel and it looked really cool, and then everyone tried it and then they lost a couple games, so they're like, man, whatever.
Thompson can pull it off sometime. Understandable with the flank. T1, yeah. Pops the ult. Ollie's going to be the first target for now. Just probably want to pop that orthotic shield, or the ult I should say. TP out. Looks like they're not going to find the outstart here. Ollie finally ult goes up, but they find the troll in the trees. And even expending Mortimer's kisses. Down he goes, and that is a celebratory belch from Mortimer himself onto the tier 2 tower.
Yeah, you saw how far that glob was shot? That's about half the distance of the Underlord gate.
Okay.
Just so you have an idea.
Thank you. For people that they're just joining us, that makes no sense, reference. But if you were with us during our very long fill panel, or what do you call it?
Panel?
Basically podcast at this point. Might as well upload that as our next episode. But yeah, thank you for that great reference. We have a quick pause here. still use Teams.
I don't know when and where TeamSpeak.
Can you name... Okay, this is a trivia for everybody in chat, and only the very old people will know. What is the original voice communication software that was popular in game?
Counter-Strike?
In general.
Ventrilo?
It was the first one that came in
Before Ventrilo?
That's right. There's one before. It was very popular for about a year and a half.
Wow.
And then they never updated it.
You're so old.
You're not going to guess it, so I'll just tell you. Name. This is just for the chat since it's paused. The name is Roger Wilco.
Isn't that
Google it.
Roger Wilco?
Roger Wilco. It was a revolutionary piece of software.
Isn't that the drink you want with cherry and...
Grenadine?
Yeah, Roger Wilco.
No, that's Roy Rogers.
Yeah.
Roy Rogers Wilco.
You know that meme with the same picture? That's that one. Right
Okay,
there. It's the
sure.
same. It's the same drink.
Just as delicious.
I think if you
remember
go to a restaurant and you order a Roger Wilco, whatever, they'll probably be like, "Oh, that sounds like."
A lot of people like they don't want to be embarrassed that they don't know the drink name, so they'll just bring you something. It's always a little RNG in that. Okay,
Speaking of drinks,
yes.
First of all, we have a pause, and secondly, Ollie, no, sorry, not Ollie, Fly has plenty of time to 30 seconds.
That is an incredibly well-timed segue. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Let's segue into a pause.
Okay.
Wonderful.
What else can we segue here into?
JJ actually just gave me my water supply. Right
Okay, that's unacceptable. We're not allowed to hydrate during the game. So what do you think of the tier 5 items this game? What do you think about the tier 5 items that are definitely going to
do that
come
while I'm drinking? What is wrong with you?
Do you think we're going to see the Force Boots or Fallen Sky that's been nerfed in this game? I will be so excited as always.
That is actually a good question. When you talk about neutral items, do you think we're going to see this or this? So it's literally just a guess, you know?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's just
we see a replay of the original fight here.
A little while ago, since this...
T1 in good position right now,
Very good, for sure. Okay. And worth noting, I was skeptical about Night Stalker as that last pick with the lane he was... Cuckoo's having a huge impact. He did better in lane than I expected, and he's doing better in the game than I thought, so definitely proved me wrong on that one so far. We are highlighting Pirate Hat, Ex Machina.
All right, let's talk about them.
Yes.
So Fallen Sky got nerfed, right? I believe it was the timing that it takes to actually blink to the target has been increased. So that's actually a pretty big nerf.
It is.
So that was definitely that's like the best one, or it was.
This is honestly pretty useful information for when we get a 60-minute game.
There's
tomorrow.
a lot of new people, tuning in for the first time. They haven't watched Dota in so long. Neutral items drop from the jungle, by the way. Does that sound weird to you guys? It did sound weird to us as well, and it took some time to get used to. But tier 5s really sold me. First time I had a game where we were behind, I got a Fallen Sky and we won because of it. That's great. And we see Pig Pole. This is one that turns you into a pig, makes you faster, and gives you a buff that scares everybody away. I made that last part up, but it's a good one. Highly recommend using that in game if it were to drop.
Think about it. You get 10. That is such a bad trade-off, but in some situations it's good, but the main thing about the items is...
Right, if they reduce the all stats to like 3, how fast would you make? 10% to what? Like 25? 20.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if it was 20 right now, do you think that would be broken? I think it'd be fine.
Okay, let me turn this... Say, how often have Pigpole active make a difference?
I've seen people die because of it many times, so it's made a big difference. Actually.
How many times has it helped you or anyone? How many times has it had a positive impact to use it? Like, give me a percentage.
One time out of however many times I've seen it pro game. It was Firefly from Batrider.
Right. That's also one of the absolute best.
Other than that, it's gotten them killed about 90% of the... Like, when you activate it, it should say in the tooltip, 90% chance to die when used around an enemy. Because that's pretty accurate.
That's a pretty...
But it looks hilarious, so
yeah, it's true.
It's balanced out.
I honestly think it shouldn't have a mod.
I agree.
I don't know why this costs 50 mana. It's not like. Then you have this cost 50, and then you have the Tumbler's Toy costs 0.
That is weird. Yeah, Tumbler's Toy is actually good.
This one should have a mana cost.
This one's
actually the other way
a good
around.
item. Yeah.
This one should cost 50, and the Pig Pulse costs 0.
I know you're listening because you probably look at all the games and you're seeing that this game's paused, and that's when you tune in specifically because of these conversations that we have. That you take our ideas and do not give us credit, by the way. Tumbler's Toy needs to have a mana cost. Pig's Pull, nothing.
Yeah.
That's the recommendation from his esteemed colleagues that we have.
And Trusty Shovel should have a chance to dig up Nyx Assassin in Burrow if you use it.
So you keep it all game against a Nyx Assassin that has Aghanim Scepter just in case that you dig him up.
Yeah.
So it like relocates him from his current spot.
No, you get
all right,
him
back into the game itself.
You get him as a drop. Then you can pick up Nyx and throw him as a spike grenade.
So it's a 6th hero, basically.
Yes.
Wow, that sounds great. That's a tier 8 item. That'll be coming next year. T1 versus IG. I don't know why I'm saying that. 2K network lead for T1.
Well, let's remember
the pause. Yeah, the pause was so long I forgot what we were doing, honestly.
Comes with age.
Emo, pretty close to finishing his BKB, so that's the point where you're expecting them to maybe get a little bit aggressive and not take some fights.
Yeah, you need to calm the game down a little bit. It's been pretty clear over the last couple of moves that you're just outmatched right now in fights, especially when you don't have the vision superiority, which is hard to obtain. Storm, Night Stalker, and Luna. Every time it's nighttime, this T1 lineup just seems so much.
Scanning.
You gotta be very selective. And I do think for IG, if you manage to get these attack, you're back.
Radiant
but you only have the Ember one currently. Doom still has 1500 go, and so does Troll. So you are looking at 2 to 3 minutes before you accomplish that.
You're saying you need all 3.
I think so. I mean, you technically might be able to do it with 2, but why take them out? They're so close together, right? You want connected.
Ooh. Whitemon is going for Aghanim Scepter. At first item, Aghanim Scepter on Tidehunter support. That is awesome. That is so cool. Holy crap. So that gives you the wide AoE of Gush. So you can just hit everybody, basically. It's going to be confusing when they Ravage because he has that cosmetic that looks like he's gushing. But
I've always loved this act.
It's great.
I love it. I love the AoE Gush.
What are the talents that he took, if you don't mind, Mr. Observer? 10% Gush slow. All right, you got to go Gush damage and Gush armor. And then sadly, 25, there is no Gush. You just don't skill the level 25 talent.
Here's the party!
As a position 5 type. Ooh. Alright, that is...
Oh, they do get the Hex.
Definitely some miscues here from T1's side, but Sokka's still going to be the one that gets caught out. So you can see, they're even able to make some mistakes like that and still come out on top just because of the advantage.
JT had cast the Doom. That might have been a kill. He pump faked it because he wasn't sure they were connecting, and then Kaka went on it, but then Doom doesn't have Dagger, so they can't really follow up, and this could be really costly.
He's going to see Ollie on the high ground here,
hasted.
Just trying to create as much space as possible, as is his job as Abby. But that actually saves Roche, basically.
You are the only person in the world calling it bad in Abby.
Abby.
There is surely no... Okay, actually, maybe Slacks does it. It sounds like something...
No, Slacks calls Slardar Sladar. That's tilting.
I don't know what's worse, honestly. Abby.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
What's not?
I mean, I could say Abaddon. I don't like saying Abaddon.
Okay.
So. Would you rather have Abby or Abaddon?
Hey, since I absolutely have to be wrong, which version do you like more?
You know, Ice Frog has set a precedent. Aegis is pronounced incorrectly, so we're allowed to mispronounce everything. I think that's the precedent set overall. So in terms of itemization for T1, Cinderin, are they waiting for anything specific?
They got the NSBKB. They're going now.
Honestly,
this is a good time for IG to have a comeback fight. I'd say comeback. Like, they're not very far behind. But they have the triple BKBs online and all spells except Finger, which I don't think is a requirement here if you get the right Doom on. You Doom Tide pre-Ravage or you Storm, I think you have a really good shot in this upcoming fight.
I mean, momentum, you're talking about the net worth not being that
double
big of a
smokes.
difference.
Instant break on Kaka.
Cuckoo knows. He's gonna get Hex right off the bat. Now the tail to follow. Carl jumps in with that BKB, and BKB's popped by both teams, in fact. Ollie trying to tank as much damage as possible. JT looks like he's being able to clean up Zephyr pretty easily. Carl, very low on mana. They really want to take out Ollie first. You can see that is their game plan right now. 2-for-1 to start this fight is Fly. He has his ult but there's the Whitemon ult. It's going to connect successfully. They're going to kite Flyfly as a result, and now he's just stuck in his ult form inside the pit. And that is going to be an easy cleanup crew for T1. You can see the Doom already applied and basically doing nothing against the Storm Spirit here. JT gets the hook stomp off, but he's going to drop to his death as well. So a 4-for-1 terrific fight from T1. Question is, do they have enough HP to take out Roche now?
Like it's dodgy either.
You can see how well they kited 23. Who was it?
Flyfly.
Sorry.
They're kiting out the troll. Like it's really important that okay, we're gonna see the replay again. Kaka goes in first, and they use all these spells, but not enough to kill Cuckoo. He gets Kippy off. I don't know if this is worth it from JT off on the side. Yeah, you're killing the Snap, but you already stopped the Snapfire's ulti, right? I think Doom has to connect with his team way earlier here and get that Doom out before the Ravage. This is a really good Ravage, by the way, from Whitemon. Perfectly. As the Doom goes out on the Storm, protects him entirely. I think this fight is very different if Doom accepts that stopping Snapple is enough.
Yeah.
It gets back down, but it's a hard call to make at the moment for sure. Yeah. Very nicely done. So one
into the Roche pit they go, but there's a smoke from IG. Counter initiation is on the table here. Oh, JT jumps into the hook stomp. Gets off the in front of him, going to be able to blow up. 423 Savage is donezo, along with Zephyr, so 2 for nothing. A great initiation there from IG, and they're going to get even more, and they will get Roche as a result. Holy Jesus, what a turnaround.
This sustains gold.
Holy
Radiant's bottom tower just a bit too easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They get the Slack Chains on 2, they get the Blink Stomp on 2, or on 1 even, but I feel like it's kind of criminal for T1 to try to kill Roche without Ravage and without Darkness. I feel like this is just flat out a mistake to attempt.
Yeah.
It's very telegraphed that they're going there too.
Yeah, the
nice
steering chains set it up.
Yeah. That's big. That is honestly a full comeback for IG in this.
Yeah.
With this Aegis now sitting on Troll, he can get kited twice instead of 1 life.
He will die twice.
Yeah.
It does take longer.
Yeah.
So, just masterful fight from IG. I mean, 1K net worth, so T1 definitely still in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't get it mixed up here.
Always the inflation from Doom. So it's still
like, what would you say is probably the correct net worth? Is it like 2K net worth for T1? Something like that? Like a 3K swing,
If
maybe?
we remove Devour entirely,
yes. If it was any other like offlaner.
It's probably something along those lines, yeah.
But with the Aegis advantage, this means that buildings will go down, so IG will likely, I guess, effectively tie it up.
Top tower is under
result of this item, in theory at least. But there's a 5-man smoke from T1.
Dire's structures
tower will fall
are
here.
fortified.
Yeah. Nice wraparound here from Kuku's getting a great angle.
For JT, potentially Flyfly. Alright. They want the Lion first. They're going to focus on him. But there's the Doom applied to Cuckoo. And it looks like he's going to take it. There's the Rabbit coming in from Whitemon. Connects on to several heroes. Going to be 1 dead for now in the line. Emo, looks like he's going for the outskirts of the Zephyr kill here. Will be successful in doing so. There's the Aegis online, and T1 expended a lot for this. It didn't really get that much. That means the tier 2 tower will finally fall.
Dire's top tower
Effectively
is
kind
under
of a Doom for Ravage.
Oh my god, Cuckoo.
Dire's top tower.
BKB TP will be enough. Oh my god, he dies! Oh, that's a BKB charge. He got so greedy with the neutrals. Oh no.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Good
under
lord,
attack.
that is unfortunate if you're a T1 fan.
That's 1,000 gold for Doom.
Yikes.
That was a solo kill on, was that a 6 or an 8 kill streak Night Stalker? 6 streak.
Oh man. You know,
oh boy.
It's funny because when he was in the jungle, I'm like, wait, does he have shard? Is he gonna creep to gain HP right now?
Dire's middle
No,
tower is
just
under
very
attack.
greedy. Well, at least they know there's a ward there, but it's not worth.
That's worth 900 gold. That info. It's an expensive ward. Because of this, Doom is going to have Shiva very soon. That accelerated that item by 1.5 minutes probably for him. And it's a very strong item on Doom. So the hero needs armor.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
It
attack.
helps giving vision around tree lines. Obviously it lowers regeneration, which isn't that important in this, but getting the vision to find the Doom, as well as giving you mana pool. Well, it's an all-round feel-good item. He's going to sell his Quelling Blade and buy it here. Gotta say though, IG, they're looking in a good spot again now.
Yeah.
In a way, it's a very different game than game number 1, but in some ways, it's a little bit similar with the mid-game teamfight execution. T1 are playing this more skirmish heavy, they have Storm Night Stalker, and IG just pop their BKBs and stand their ground and deliver.
Still the Aegis in tow. See how much more damage they can do to the buildings. 1.5 minutes to go, and I mean they have basically everything. Doom not quite up yet. As I say that, it had probably the window of opportunity to take advantage of having that second life on Troll, who, like you said, gets kited so freaking easily.
Are scanning.
Carl jumps in, looking for Emo with a crippling fear to fall. He has to pop his BKB, gets the Searing Chains off onto 2. Ollie's in the vicinity as well. Looks like Carl's going to get out to safety though. There's not much mana to work with. That means the TP out will be successful. Doom will cancel it. And that means 2 EKB charges for Cuckoo have actually just been wasted. Although I guess trading for a Doom is something. It's better than the original one.
It's something, but that still doesn't feel good. You know you're going to lose a tower now, most likely, without your Night Stalker in fight. This, and there it's just going.
He jumps in with the hook stop. He's with the finger of death. They're going to be able to blow up Dorothy. He's out of very easily. And Carl trying to do as much as he can, but he's all alone now. And T1 are just falling apart the seams here in the last like 5 minutes. They don't look the same from the rest of the game. Just completely falling apart.
That's the BKBs. That's it. That was that one thing that IG needed to start winning literally every fight.
Yeah.
They got it, and they just get the job done. Nice ball lightning there, but not quite enough. The wave is going to come in. Aegis regeneration will go off, so Wi-Fi will be full HP.
It is going to be at minimum 1 rack.
Yeah, this is something Troll's good at. We found it. We found the thing Troll is good at.
Abaddon as well. Don't forget the Curse of Avernus. Look at that extra attack speed. What a beast that Gordon. So we're going to get mid. Transition to top potentially. No, they're going to jump in. It's going to force the buyback onto Luna potentially, but no. Cuckoo is forced out to safety, but not safe enough apparently. Guy's right in front of his Ancient, so they're going to hold on to the buyback. But that's another 20-second discrepancy. You have to wait for the Night Stalker to come back.
Dire's top tower.
When we talk about the Ags, it's, I mean, in theory, good for high ground defense, but you need some abilities, you need some heroes in addition. So this is going to be 2 sets of racks for IG when it was looking very favorable for T1 in this game. They're jumping in. Alright. Now that Luna come back. See the Mortimer's Kisses as well. Fly pops the BKB. And with no way to actually stop that TP, they'll be successful in getting out. Ollie though, again, sacrificial lamb, that's the hero you want for it. Abby is dead.
You guys can't see this, but when he said that, he just looked at me in a way like, I am triggering you right now, aren't I?
That's right.
Yeah. Very mean person.
Yeah, this was
is a great job.
Yeah,
very well. And at the same time, you might ask yourself, why is 23 Savage there, right? If a Dead Night Stalker, you are Luna, exposed to being blink engaged by either a Lion or a Tide or a Doom. It is, no matter how you look at it, that is just a mistake. IG just punish it very quickly. Basically, off of that jump, built themselves what but that was a killing blow. Although, yeah, I mean, I guess the game's still going, so let's not count them out just yet. But if IG are to win, that was a very key moment.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
T1 are going to look for some sort of opening here for their Ravage available. Like we talked about, Tide going Ags means that there's no like blink surprise engage, and you need longer fights where Cuckoo maybe engages on the Lion, Storm does, and then build something from there.
We got the Silver Edge now, 23 Savage. Bought the Shard, by the way, so I guess that's still part of the build. We talked about this previously, that it was nerfed, so I wasn't sure if it's like you can actually buy or rely on Roche potentially. You get the crit and get some safety?
Yeah, we already have BKB. No.
Wow, Ollie is going for an Aghanim Scepter. Wow. You don't see that very often in position 5.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, that's true. It's a really good Ags, too. Basically, anytime your ult is popped, you will heal your entire team. Pretty nice. Yeah, it looks like IG is definitely in the driver's seat, and remember, this is the group stage, so only the first series. Every team's gonna play each other. T1, one of those teams that we weren't really sure about. Like, we thought the Animajor, they were doing very, very well. It looked like one of the best teams in the world, in fact, and it kind of dropped off a bit since then, so let's see if they're able to bounce back in game here.
Managing to force out the Dark Ascensiondary's emo, which is big because this opens up for a potential Roche attempt. As soon as that expires, I think IG should just chill. Wait it out. If that ends, you
can actually buy Ags right now and all. That's insane. That's like the fastest Ags I've seen. Nice Stalker in the trees. You can see Zephyr with the ult. Not going to connect on much here. Only a couple ticks.
Radiant's
see
middle
the
tower
Neon Disc picked up by Kaka. It does proc, so won't have that for this upcoming fight. And Emo has the Gleipnir, by the way, so disabled several heroes now. Looks like they're just resetting into a potential Roche take here. But with that Ags Gush, it is quite annoying to fight into, no doubt about it. Close space here. There's the Gleipnir, up 23 Savage head spot BKB and Silver Edge, and now that they know that's down, that is an open fight here potentially for IG. Emo, he pops his BKB though. Focusing on Whitemon for now, doesn't really have much damage to speak of though. It's Cuckoo initiated on by JT, looking for the Doom target potentially, but Cuckoo has to pop that and back away for now. Searing Chains from afar. Again, Emo just doing so much creating so much havoc from afar right now. Cuckoo looks to be the first to die in this engagement. Does have his buyback though. He gets tied as well. Did have Ravage, but still has the buyback in addition. So we'll see if they end up trying to defend Roche here. That's one. Pretty sure you likely just going to go for this. And all he does have his Axe now. Is this the fastest one you've ever seen? It's a part oh my god, 23 Savage takes a combo, no buyback to speak of. That makes it a 5v4 advantage despite the buybacks coming out from T1. And they lose Whitemon again. That is a dieback. So this is a free Roche. That's going to be Aegis, that's going to be Shard. And that's likely going to be game. That was such a quick jump.
Radiant's bottom tower.
No hesitation. They have these perfect two wards here, pre-placed IG, and they see a key hero, and Kaka's just in right away. You're going to see it here. Instant Hex, just full-on burst. Lion as well as Storm and the Doom Stomp. Huge advantage for IG once again, and looking more and more like a 2-0 by the minute. Kyle testing his BKB, it still works, but that's a fitting line at least. They can have a laugh at it, that's good. I mean, that's going to be the important thing going forward, is to keep morale up in games like this where, I mean, this one feels worse than the first one because you were in the driver's seat. Yeah, and you're doing well in this one. A couple pretty key mistakes, I think, objectively say, ended up kind of snowballing this in IG's favor.
你这么菜，你的队友
Pushing
不
out the
生
lane
气
now. He
吧，
has his
根
Agnes. He
哥
picked up the shard, by the way, so that will give. This one's kind of hard to remember. Don't show me, JJ. Don't show it yet. Test my trivia here.
Testing what? The
shard for Ember is you get the remnants do damage over time. They leave a remnant on any dead body around you. And I can't remember what else. There's a third thing.
You restore a charge of your ult every time you get a kill.
Every time you get a kill.
Dire's bottom tower is under
pretty
attack.
Pretty cool shard. I like it. I mean, the rest of the team, we talked about Lion already, and it's really just Doom. Might be second place.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
This is kind of cool. Has the old level death effect.
Yep.
Love to see that someday, as he has the refresher now to go along with, so that's double BKB, double Shivas, double Doom, double Midas.
Is there some sort of lore for, like, what Doom is based on that makes the whole concept of level death make sense? Like, in the lore of, like, Satan or Lucifer or whatever, does he like to gamble or something?
Oh boy, we're gonna have to hold that thought as 23 Savages. Refresher was used, double Shivas.
He got mauled.
We'll have to ask Slacks. I believe that he worships Satan.
Doom also has a voice line that says, I gambled, you lost, right? Maybe it's because it's a sin or something or whatever. Yeah, like when the devil comes down, and there's a lot of movies about that, where somebody bets their soul, right? So maybe level does that.
It's an old mechanic they wanted to bring back. Understandable. Is T1.
You need to come up with that spell first.
That's true.
Oh, Taka, nothing's happening.
Ollie gets his ult off, and you can see that his Axe is doing almost nothing.
Yep, that's what happens when
couple
nobody
heals.
takes damage.
Yeah, that's true. And this is going to be mega creeps, so IG going to take this to no zero.
And there's still a range barracks top.
My mistake, guys. I forgot that range barracks.
Surely it will not be taken in the next 30 seconds.
30 seconds to take it out. Will they do it? That's the big question of the game. The question of who's going to win the game. And there's the mega creeps. It's going to be eventual GG. Trying to create as much space as possible. Wyman gets up and Ravage onto 3. Zipped back in by Carl. Wyman just able to get his ult off in time, and we'll get the trade very easily there. Already at half HP with that Scotty now in tow. Blink Dagger as well. So you're just gonna hold out as long as possible. I mean, it is TI, so understandable. You never know. If they dive your fountain 10 times, come back.
T1 predicted longest game of the tournament to be 40 to 50. And they've got there now. Then you could call it now.
Yeah. Maybe they'll hold on another 10 minutes.
Be a very bold prediction.
This is a puck game. It wouldn't end anytime soon, that's for sure. Oh, Carl jumps in, wants the kill really bad on the line. Looks like he's going to be able to get it. So Kaka takes a tumble. 23 Savage. Gets off the eclipse, but there's a whole bunch of creeps there to tank it up, and GG is finally called. So IG take it 2-0. Overall, pretty convincing.
Yep.
T1 a little bit sloppy from their side. You can see the potential.
For sure. I think this game more so than the last one. This time the lanes went better, and honestly, for me, the moment in this game that really cost them the most is when they tried to Roche without Ravage and Dark Ascension, right? They end up losing 2 or 3 heroes, and they lose that Aegis, and it just gives a much better mid-game potential for IG, right?